Good morning. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a podcast brought to you by Joy's House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates. And I'm Terry Stacy, filling in, not really filling in. I usually co-host with Tina McIntosh. She's out today, but we are so happy and thrilled that you're here. Caregiver Crossing is a podcast really created just for you, the caregiver. Again, I'm Terry Stacy, along with
Candace Hannibal. Hey, Terry.
Hey, Candace. Candace works at Joy's House, and I'm so happy to have her by my side today and producing the show as well. And I knew that we were going to be talking with Julie today, and we will introduce her in just a second. We're going to talk to Julie about growing old in Indiana. So last night, Candace and I were preparing for the show, and she did a quick Google search to see where Indiana ranked in terms of growing older. We ranked 49th in the nation, according to seniorliving.org. That's not good. But then we jumped over to caring.com, who ranked us as 21st.
Still not the best.
21st in the nation. In the nation! According to a number of factors. And guess what, people? We are all growing older, okay? So you need to pay attention. You're not going to go the other direction to get younger. So stop thinking that this doesn't mean anything to you, because it does. We are so happy to have Julie Koegel with us. She is the grants officer for Central Indiana Senior Funds. That's just one of her titles. And we are so happy to have you here, Julie. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We don't have a whole lot of time here, but I do want to jump in and start with talking about yourself and the work that you do here in the community and how these funds support seniors. So let's start there. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, I am a very long-time consultant working in the health and human services sector in Central Indiana. And as you said, I serve as grants officer for Central Indiana Senior Fund. And Senior Fund is a fund of the Central Indiana Community Foundation. And so we have the support of the Community Foundation, which is fabulous. And we fund programs for seniors ages 55 and older in Central Indiana. And that includes Marion County and the immediate surrounding counties. And we are very interested in how our funding addresses racial equity, which is also very high priority for Central Indiana Community Foundation. And so Senior Fund really looks at who's being served, whose outreach is being done towards, who's determining what the outcome should be, how we're measuring that, and all with that racial equity lens. But we have a number of areas that we fund, that we prioritize, and those include helping seniors age in place. As we know, seniors often have a difficult time aging in place, and so we have funded home repairs and lawn care services for seniors. Another priority is decreasing hunger. So we've funded food pantries that would be specific for seniors. So they might get a little extra time at the food pantry. There might be foods there particularly that would be suited for seniors. And then we have funded Meals on Wheels here in Marion County and some of the surrounding counties, and congregate food sites where seniors can come together and socialize and get a hot meal. We have funded programming that mitigates loneliness and isolation. Things like art programs for seniors where they can be creative and do that among their peers. We have funded programs in community centers where seniors can come together, get a hot meal, socialize, get information, maybe have a wellness check. Sometimes they'll do field trips or go to the grocery store, those kinds of things. And then there are some senior centers that we fund that are designed for the seniors to come in, and they also do outreach in the community. We have funded programs that support caregivers like Joy's House, so adult day services, or we have funded programs that help kinship caregivers. So it might be a grandmother or an aunt who's caring for nieces and nephews and grandchildren because the parents can't for whatever reason. So they can come together and get information and referrals to services and have that peer support. And things are probably different than when they raise their kids. So learn about things like social media and the internet and all those things that they might need help with. We also have worked.
And Julie, sorry, I just wanted to point out that you're funding organizations that are helping seniors or families in these areas, not people directly, right?
Yes, thank you. And we fund nonprofit organizations. that are serving seniors ages 55 and older. Yes, we do not provide individual services or funding. We have also funded things like helping to decrease homelessness among seniors, or healthcare and dental care for seniors, transitional housing and supportive services for senior vets that are needing assistance, and legal services. And a list of those organizations can be found at our website at cicf.org, and you can look under funds, and there's Central Indiana Senior Fund is listed, and you can click and see who we have funded and what kinds of dollars and the kinds of services that they provide. So if you're looking for assistance. So we fund a lot of different things.
That's okay. Thank you, Julie. So you're joining us today because we want to talk about aging in Indiana. Is it a good place to age? Or do we have different programs in place for seniors? Why is it even important to ask that question?
Well, I think it's important because the senior population, ages 55 and older, is increasing 6 times faster than the population under 55. So, as Terry said, we're all getting older. And I have to tell you, when I took Senior Fund on, I don't know, it's been 5, 6, 7 years ago, I came home and said to my husband, oh my gosh, Senior Fund is 55 and older and I qualify. So it was kind of like, my eyes popped up and went, oh, wow.
But you know what, Julie? I keep wondering when that number is going to change, 55 being that number, because we're living longer. And, if you go back many, many decades, 25 was midlife,
right.
But we're living longer. And so I keep wondering if that's going to keep moving just or shifting at some point when 55 now is more, on that younger side, officially,
Right.
if that ever changes. Do you ever think that too? Or no? Am I the only one?
I do think that too. And, I think it's always that as you age, it's the old people are those people that are older than you. You're never the old person. It's always,
right.
It used to be, you think about somebody who's 60, oh, they're really old. And then it was, that's not so old, 65. Well, that's not so, oh, wow, So
Right.
you have to look at that. But seniors, there are almost 500,000 seniors in Central Indiana. And that's
Wow.
26% of the population. So as that number increases, we have to continuously think about services and public policy and how it's going to impact those seniors. But one of the things that I found was interesting, you were talking about, will that number increase in terms of who's considered senior? Somebody not too long ago said to me, what they have found is that people in poverty often age much faster. And so those people that are 55 are often health-wise, mobility-wise, often older because of healthcare issues or issues they face because they've been in poverty or whatever it is. So I think for some of the population, that senior category might be older in the future, but for some, it's probably not going to be.
Yeah, I still don't like where we're ranked, though. When we look at these numbers, 49th in the nation, according to seniorliving.org, or 21st in the nation, according to other factors with caring.com. Those are still not, that doesn't sound good.
It doesn't. And, it's really interesting because I'm going to talk a little bit more about this the aging report. But one of the things that it found was a large majority of people say that where they live is a good place to age. And so I really think it depends on who you are, where you live. You experience aging very differently. If you have significant or I should say sufficient income and you're fairly healthy and you've got transportation or you can drive, have access to services, this is probably a pretty good place to age. The, cost of living is lower. We do have a lot of services in many parts of Central Indiana, especially here in Marion County. So, it kind of depends on who you are.
And Julia, let's touch on that state of aging report and what some of the findings were.
Sure. Senior Fund commissioned a report by the Polis Center, and they worked in conjunction with a number of different departments at IUPUI, and they created the State of Aging Report in Central Indiana. And this is an interactive online portal that has got a ton of information about seniors in Central Indiana. And it covers demographics, financial stability, food insecurity, transportation, aging in place, healthcare, social well-being, caregiving. That's not the fully inclusive list, but it's very comprehensive, and you can do a lot of research on the interactive portal. There's lots of maps. it's a fabulous tool for organizations to use and public policymakers to use to look at the state of aging. You can find this at centralindiana.stateofaging.org. Again, centralindiana.stateofaging.org. But some of the findings that were fascinating, they talked about the poverty rate. 1 in 12 seniors are experiencing poverty in Central Indiana. But if you're a senior of color, you're almost 3 times more likely to experience poverty than a white senior. It looked at food insecurity. 1 in 10 seniors are facing food insecurity. Again, some of that is based on where you live. There's a lot of food deserts in Marion County. If you're a senior in a rural area and you can't get transportation to the grocery store, that's a problem. With food delivery that we had during COVID, that helped. And programs like Meals on Wheels help, but that's a real issue. They found that a lot of seniors have problems maintaining their homes. So a study that SECOA did that is included in this, 57% of Central Indiana seniors said maintaining their home is a problem, and 45% have difficulty maintaining their yards. So if you can't maintain your yard, then potentially you have a code violation. Then you rack up fines. And then eventually, some of these seniors end up losing their houses because they can't take care of their yard. And so that's a real problem.
And Julie, I think it's so important to point out that, funding is available. If someone has the heart to create an organization to help fill these needs, the Senior Fund is definitely a resource for you to help support your funding efforts.
It is. And we funded some new organizations this last year that are doing exactly this work. They're mowing yards for seniors. And obviously they can only mow so many, but they mow, for the whole summer, and they get youth involved in that. So, so then the seniors can interact with the youth. And so that's a great creative way that somebody in the community has recognized the need and the service for seniors, that Senior Fund is willing to, fund that nonprofit to provide those services.
SECOA, also another great place to start. Joyce House is always happy to help navigate and get you connected with the right people. That's for sure. joycehouse.org, that other resource. Julie, and anything you'd like to, as we close, anything you'd like to mention, or maybe a topic we didn't cover that you wish we would have?
Well, I know that caregiving is obviously near and dear to your listeners' hearts. And so I think it was really interesting one of the findings was that caregivers really had a significant toll taken on their mental health during COVID. And there was, obviously, you all know, many of them experience anxiety, depression, or PTSD. And so around 30% of caregivers considered suicide, which breaks my heart. And so, if people need help, reach out. Joyce House is there. That's what they're there for. This is a great organization. Senior Fund has been very proud to fund over the years, and we know that it does great work. And so if, as caregivers, you feel the need for help, please reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, reaching out means reaching out to any resources that we've given out already. But again, if anyone would like to contact you, again, give us the website or how they would reach you,
They
Julie.
would reach me through JULIEK at CICF, so Central Indiana Community Foundation.org. And again, we fund nonprofits. You can go to the CICF.org website and look under funds and find Senior Fund. And there's a list of the organizations that we have funded. You can also contact SECOA for assistance as well.
Okay. All right. One more thing about caregivers, and I'm wondering if you know this. The age of caregivers, it used to be, we said the face of a caregiver was about a 45-year-old female. Is that changing?
It is. It's interesting because a third of seniors provide care to someone ages 55 and over. So, and 4 in 5 seniors provide care for another person. Now, that can be 55 and over, and that could still be their kids. For those of you who had children late in life, that could still be their kids. Or sometimes it's a disabled child, a child with a disability, that as they age, the parents are having to care for them. So, as people get older, those caregivers are often going to get older if they're caring for a spouse.
Yeah.
So
Wow. You've given us some really important information today. That is for sure. Julie K at CICF.org, CICF.org for more information. Again, these numbers are something. And we are so glad we had some time to talk to you. Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you very, very much. Candace, as we close the show, we just want to remind our listeners that they can contact Tina McIntosh for more information and resources to help you through this journey of caregiving at tina@joycehouse.org.
Before we go, we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Cardon and Associates, with 20 communities owned, operated, and managed in the Midwest, and more than 40 years of senior living experience. Cardon and Associates provides residents with best senior living options and personalized care. All right, Terry and Julie, that's it for us this week. Until next time, take good care of each other.